Hi, this is Creative Hearts. My name is Jemma Rosenthal and I'm here to help you live your most creative life and find your voice. And today's topic is how to let go of comparison and disappointment about where you might be on your journey. So, the reason why I'm doing this topic is because today I was having a coaching session with my coach and I was saying about all the things we had to write down. First of all, we had to write down what we'd achieved and then what we wanted to achieve. So we were doing a monthly review. And I realised, oh my God, I've not achieved half of the things that I want to achieve this year. And also, I don't know if I have time to achieve those things in a year. And, I was feeling really disappointed about it. And often I will compare myself to people that do have those things. And I think, why is it so easy for them to have those things and not for me? So the other day I posted a video on depression and procrastination. So there'll be a link below to watch that. But one of the things that can kind of spiral us into that is comparison and feeling disappointed about where we're at. So if we don't feel that we are ahead of where we should be, or even just on time, of where we should be at a certain age, for example, sometimes it can be to do with that you're getting to a certain age and you feel like, right, I should have achieved this, that, the other, however many things. Or it could also be personal achievements. So it might not be an age thing. It might just be, I said to myself that I was going to do this by this time and I haven't done it yet. That can feel really frustrating and really disappointing. And then also when you look at people that have done those things and it seems like, well, that just seems so easy for them. How is it that they're doing things and then I'm, stuck feeling this way? So that might be some of the thoughts that can come about. But what you have to remember is that there are people looking at you thinking the same things. So they might be seeing things, and I get people tell me this all the time, they might, they'll say, Jemma, like, you're doing this, that, and the other. Like, I haven't done this, that, and the other. Or they'll say, there'll be people watching you. They'll say, I don't have a podcast. I'm not published in books, or I don't, I'm not a coach, trained as a coach, or, all these different things. I haven't put my songs on Spotify. And when I say it like that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've achieved a lot. I've done a lot this year. But the thing is because I still have these, societal standards. So, for example, I don't drive yet. And that can be a really debilitating thing where I think to myself, I said I was going to learn to drive. I want to learn to drive, but I haven't done it yet. And, it might be because of fear, probably is because of fear, but it's one of those things where also, money, you need to pay people to learn to drive as well. But it's just like, whatever the reason it is, sorry, I always look at my hair on these things and I'm like, gosh, what's it doing? So if I'm messing about with my hair, I apologize because I can actually see myself as I'm recording this. I'm not sure. I don't know. I could let it, I could kind of turn it off so I can't see myself, but then I may go out of the screen. So I want to just check that I'm in screen. So yeah. And then somebody on the call was saying, well, that, is it that important that you're learning to drive? It may not be that that's the top of your list, because it might be that I have other things like doing a music video, for example, that other people might not even think about ever wanting to do. And it might be like that would never be on top of their list, but learning to drive might be something that they did when they're 17. And it's kind of like, the funny thing is, I did actually win a driving lesson session. When I was 17, I came second in a competition, singing competition, and me and my friend sang a duet, and then I actually won some driving lessons, and I never did them. And I don't know why, but I just never did. And then I moved to London, and it was like, well, no one drives in London in terms of like central London. Like, it's difficult to drive. People do drive in London, but you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't practical. And then, you know, now it's like, okay, well, I get lifts most of the time. I don't really need to go many places because I do a lot of work on my laptop. And if I do go places, I tend to get lifts. So it's kind of like, okay, I would love to drive and I do want to do it. It is on my list, but it's also respecting that there may be other things that I've prioritized over that. For example, like making some cards. Now, this is actually one. So in the session, I then saw this card, which was on my wall, which is Give Yourself Kindness, which is one of our cards. This is actually a template one because it doesn't have anything on the back, and our cards do have things on the back. But you can get the cards on Etsy. But this one I really like, Give Yourself Kindness, because it's like, yeah, I need to be kinder to myself when it comes to like comparing, okay, other people can drive, but I can create cards. And it's like, you know, Brynda helped me to do this, so I can't actually, I can't, I probably could if I tried, but I got someone to help me to make them. So that's the other thing, is like, if you don't have skills in one area, if you're comparing yourself, this is a really good point, actually. It's like, you know, I could look at Brynda and say, oh, I wish I knew how to do designs and I had done my own cards in the sense of actually, you know, creating the design part. Or I could go, well, I have coaching skills and I know how to write words on the back and design what I would like in my head, and then a designer can actually do the part where they're making it into cards. And that means that I'm actually collaborating with people instead of being jealous or envious of someone's skill set. You can actually work together and then create through working with someone. And it doesn't matter if you don't have certain skill sets or certain ways of doing things. So that's one sort of way of looking at it. Instead of, you know, comparing, you can actually collaborate. So if you think of something right now where you might be looking at other people and saying, they've got that, why haven't I got it? Or they can do that, why can't I do it? And you're comparing yourself to something that someone else either has or something that someone else either does. In order to sort of combat that or soften that, if whatever wording you want to use, it's first of all, think about the skills that you do have. Think about the things that you can do. Think about the things that you can contribute and that you already have. And if you want to improve other skills that other people have, that you would like to do. So, for example, if I want to get better at, if I want to learn how to do the design part, then, well, I did actually go to an art class a few months ago, I think it was. So I actually know that I can do the art part if I wanted to, but sometimes you don't want to. Sometimes you want to give it to somebody else who has the skills, who maybe is better than you at doing it and has done it longer. So it can be that you just appreciate people's skills and, you know, what they have as well. So if you're thinking about something that you want that someone else has, or if it's something that they do that you want to do, you have two options. You can either, well, you have three, maybe four. Let me just count these options. So first of all, you have the option that you can just appreciate that other person's skills, or appreciate what they have and be joyful for them. It's called mudita, which is a Sanskrit word where you appreciate a skill. You appreciate something that somebody else has when they're happy. You're happy for them. So I actually did a project a few years ago called Mood Eater, and we worked with people in schools, and we created a music video on that topic to really help them to see like that there is this abundance, there is this sense of you can be happy for other people having things and being happy. And so that's the first option. You can just be joyful for somebody else having something. And then the other option is that you can ask them for help. You can collaborate with them if that's an option, or you can ask them to help you learn it. So you can go to someone else that may be able to help you learn it. So that is 3 options, I think, that you can do to lessen this comparison thing. So it can be that you can either just appreciate that someone has it and just be happy for them, or you can collaborate with them so that you don't have to do the thing but you're still experiencing the thing. Or you can actually ask them to help you learn how to do it if it's something you need to learn. If it's a thing, so for example, if you want things that people have, for example, money, or if it's material things, like even if it's looks, if you're jealous of someone's looks or envious of someone's looks, so you think, oh, they look this way and I want to look like that. Or if it's perhaps that they have, a partner and you want a partner, if it's something like that, that's a little different because it's not a skill set, but you can still do the first one. You can be happy for them. You can still enjoy someone's looks, for example. You can look at them and go, oh, how wonderful, I'm seeing this beautiful person in my sight. Not in a weird way, but just in an appreciative way. And then also you can learn, so you can do the third one, is you can learn how to maybe, I don't want to say improve your looks as such, because obviously you can do things like that, but that can get sort of addictive and maybe you never feel enough. But you can do certain things to make yourself look nice. But also you could learn self-esteem techniques and learn how to love yourself internally so that you feel beautiful and that you don't mind what you look like. I've really worked on that since, when I was at college, at dance school. I would get anxious about my weight, even though I was never really that big, but because everybody there was very small, most people, I would have to look in the mirror every day because we did ballet all the time, and jazz and tap, and we would be in these small outfits, these uniforms and leotards. So it would just mean that I would look in the mirror and feel like I was too big, even though I wasn't, but it was just that perception. And then when I left, or during and kind of when I left college, I actually got even bigger because I was on tablets and they made me gain weight, even though I was always very small, but I was bigger than I normally would be. Because of my mental health, I had to take these tablets, and then I got a puffy face, and it just like my hair started falling out a bit, so it got thinner. And then it was like after that, I think it was, I had a boyfriend who, I remember I said to him, I want to get back to where I was at dance college. He was a fitness instructor, and I wanted to look like I did when I still was anxious about my weight, But at that time, I thought, okay, I was very toned and I want to look like that. And then he said, like, why would you want to look like you used to look? Why not just work on yourself now and be a new you? I was like, that makes a lot of sense. So instead of trying to be what I was before, even though before I still didn't have good self-esteem, I still thought I was too big even though I wasn't, it was like, oh, I can appreciate myself now. And that is how I got back into shape. But at the same time, I wasn't even out. It wasn't like, it was just a perception thing. But I got to the size that I wanted to be. But then at the same time, it was like, that was because I just accepted in that moment of like, oh, I don't need to get back to what I was. I can just be as I am. And then I just did exercise because I enjoyed it. And I ate good food because I like eating good food. So I don't know how I got onto the topic of weight. I think it's because we were talking about comparison and looks. So ever since then, after I'd lost the weight that I'd gained, even though it was only a stone, but which is, I know is very little, and I know other people will have had much different journeys with their weight, but it's just a little example of how your perception can be warped with thoughts of comparison and thoughts of judgments on yourself and your body. And it's just like, if I hadn't have that comparison of other people, other dancers, or wanting to be like my old self, when I was my old self, I didn't appreciate myself anyway. I still thought there was something wrong with me. So it's like realizing that you are enough as you are. And this can be really hard to know this, because it feels so painful when you look at your life and you don't see what you want happening. You see things that you don't want, and you see things that need to be improved. But if you're constantly comparing yourself to other people and then being disappointed about where you are, this just gets into a cycle. So it's about learning to love yourself as you are. And then if you want to make improvements, if you want to change things, then you move towards that change. So that's what I did. I had gone to the gym, and then I met my boyfriend at the time, and that had helped me gain a bit more self-esteem, because I was doing something about what I wanted to change. And it wasn't just about getting back into shape, it was also about my mental health, because that was the main thing. And I actually always told any instructors that I had after that, I was like, I'm not here to lose weight or to change how I look. I'm here because I want to help my mental health. And that was always, previous to that, it wasn't. It was because I wanted to look a certain way. And no matter how toned I was, no matter how slim I was, I still didn't feel enough. I still felt like, no, I need to look, carry on until I collapse. And that's partly why I ended up in hospital and, needed to recover, because I'd exhaust myself. And then that affected my mental health. And it was like, it wasn't just because of going to the gym, but the whole mentality was part of it. Like, just the constant exercising and just like self-improvement. And I think we can get very obsessed with self-improvement when you are in the kind of healing circles or spirituality and self-improvement. It can get very tempting to just continue until you burn out. And it's like, no, self-care is about nourishment. Self-care is about loving who you are. Self-care is about being okay with the present moment. Self-care is about not worrying about outcomes, just accepting what is. And yeah, you can move towards change. You can want to improve things, that's fine. But if you're not okay with things as they are, that's not going to improve anything, because you're always fighting against the present moment, and that's what causes conflict. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope that it's given you some pointers on how you can stop comparison and stop being disappointed about where you are in life, and start appreciating yourself and appreciating other people, and acknowledging that everyone's journey is different and everything's going to look different, and you're unique in whatever you're going through right now. So yeah, if you would like to come and join me on some workshops, I'll be doing 3 coming up with Words of the Wise, with co-authors of Words of the Wise. The workshops we have coming up are Rewild, Reconnect, Reroot with Robyn Harris, which is on the 15th of November, and there's a link below for our conversation which you can watch, and that's really about grounding into nature and being present. So if you're feeling a bit all up here at the minute and you want to ground and you want to reconnect, but also rewild because it makes us have fun and it makes us more happy and joyful, then come and join us for that event, and I'll pop the links below. We have Deepen Your Soul's Journey with Audrey Scully, which is on Saturday the 26th of November. And then we have on Thursday the 15th of December is Reconnect to Your Inner Magic with Rachel Lemon. So these workshops are all to do with Words of the Wise, women who are co-writers, contributing writers to the publication that is coming out soon with the Divine Collective Publishing. So it's really, really exciting, and I really want you to be a part of them and come along and join our collective awakening with Creative Hearts, and get the book as well when it comes out. So yes, you can also buy these cards. They don't actually look like that because they have round edges, but this is just one I have on my side to remind myself to give myself kindness. So you can purchase them on Etsy. So I'll put the links below. And yes, you can also have one-on-one coaching sessions with me, and you can, we can work on these things like letting go of comparison and disappointment on where you're at in your journey, and you can come into a more whole place of acceptance and self-appreciation and appreciation of others. This is some of the things that I have been told by previous clients that's really, really helped them to do, is to just come into more peace with themselves, with other people, and not have that kind of comparison anymore, but really coming into an appreciation. So also that can then translate into you achieving some of your creative goals. If that's what you choose, then you can then start to put your creativity into achieving some of those things that you might want to do. So thank you for watching. I've been Jemma Rosenthal. Check out my music channel as well. Subscribe to that. Subscribe to this channel also. Thank you so much.